When are you not meditating? This is the best thing about yoga. I should have said this in the beginning. This is my trick to get you to if not pay attention, like pretend at least, stay awake. It's like everything. You came here. Nobody's relying on you right now. You're here. The world is going on. Maybe it'll end tomorrow, but right now, nobody's depending on you to save the world. So you have this great opportunity. Meditate on everything. There's nothing that you can't do wholeheartedly. That's what I would say is the essence of meditation. Another way you could say, more technically, you could say focused, because if you, back to the mirror, if you focus the mind on one strong thing, the object of meditation, for many people it would be a mantra, right? So it could be a visual image, it could be many other things. Yeah. Most people here, and most people in most paths, they use sound a lot. Sound is really nice because it's very portable. So you might be just repeating Om, or Hari Om, or Om Shanti in our tradition, and many other people's tradition, or some other holy sound from some other tradition. If you develop that by sticking with one thing, that's very important, by the way, sticking with one thing. If you develop it, it gets stronger and stronger. So that's one of the main things I would say that helps you deepen your meditation is find something you love and stick to it. Take your time a little bit, but then marry it. Don't get a few years in and go, well, this person, they're the absolute best. I want to be with them for the rest of my life. And then you see somebody else. And you say, oh, what about that? Yeah. So then you end up with like this string of failed relationships. In the case of meditation, it's like you're digging for water is the classic image that Gurudev would use. And you end up, if you keep shifting to different meditation objects, you end up with like a lot of shallow holes that are dry. If you had just stayed with the first one and not moved when somebody said, oh, there's a better spot right over there. And then, oh no, there's a better spot over there. Just take your time a little bit. You don't want to take your whole life to get there. But when you find something that you really like, you have faith in it, you see other people maybe using that, scriptures talk about it, a teacher that you respect a lot talks about, whatever it is that works for you. And then stick to it, Go really, really deep with that. And then it becomes easy. That's why these great athletes, they have like little triggers, and they might be doing the same ones that they were doing when they were little kids. Golfers have all these trigger words. Not too many, because if you've got too many, it's too confusing. They'll think of like a couple of things. I'm going to keep my head down. I'm going to do whatever it is. I don't know. I have no idea what golfers do. But whatever it is they do. Yeah. So the importance of it is simply that when you strongly develop one thought, instead of having thousands of thoughts, the cacophony, you try to concentrate on the candle, and you right away see that your mind is doing this. It's thinking about everything other than the candle. It'll take you all the way across the world in seconds. It's dazzling. Yeah. Here's the well-attended to part of that. Remember, he said well-attended to for a long time without break. Yeah. And with, love, zeal, enthusiasm. Enthusiasm's a good word. Yeah. Very, very important. Here's one technique thing that's very, very important. When you notice that the mind has wandered, are you going, let's say you're repeating Shanti, which gets translated as peace. So you're sitting there, Om Shanti, Shanti in the mind. Now you're in Timbuktu. You know, you don't need, you can't even trace how you got there. There were so many thoughts in between. And when you notice you're in Timbuktu, and now you go, you suddenly go, oh, I'm supposed to be repeating Shanti. And you go, ah, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, angrily saying peace. Doesn't make a lot of sense. So this is practically all you need to know is your mind is going to go to Timbuktu. When it does and you notice it, you might want to make the very first thing you do is just like a little thank you. Because you could have stayed in Timbuktu for the rest of your life, but you didn't. You did remember. So at that point you can go, thank you. Something or someone reminded you. So that's nice. It brought you back. Maybe it's the mantra itself is bringing you back. So smile a little bit. Don't take it too seriously. And come back gently. And then Shanti, Om Shanti, re-engage. It's practically all you need to know. A lot of people don't know that. Is that the key to the practice is coming back gently. The other greatest thing about meditation is that there's nothing that you can't meditate on. Doesn't matter whether it's mantra or not. When you get up to get out of bed in the morning, and I really recommend this for the rest of the talk. Oh, I was going to say you should concentrate during the talk on what I'm saying. And then you come out ahead, even if you don't like anything I'm saying. Have a meditation and your mind is going to get stiller by, I'm going to focus on this, crazy person, and you'll be ahead of the game. Because when you focus, mind gets calmer. It reflects your true nature. Your true nature is peace and happiness. So the more that you focus throughout your life, the more peace and happiness you start to experience. So if somebody says, how do I know if I'm progressing in meditation? It's actually very easy to know. If you're a little more peaceful and happy, I would say after a suitable amount of time, which might be years. The good thing about yoga, though, is you get feedback immediately. You meditatively do hatha yoga, you feel good, right? Right away. If you do it like that angry, bend further. Why aren't I perfect yet? Then you won't get that effect. That's why for hatha yoga to be yoga, it has to be done meditatively. All of yoga has to be done meditatively. Everything you do in the name of yoga. So when you get out of bed in the morning, concentrate on putting your feet on the ground. Take a look at what your first thought is in the morning. It could be, I'm happiness personified, right? What Gurudev says right after that, that's the very first thing he says in his core teachings. He says, you are happiness personified. Who will be the happiest person? Say it with me in your mind if you already know it. He says, the one who brings happiness to others. There you go. That's all you need. If you want to know the best thing to deepen your meditation, to become like really, really skilled at this, forget yourself and try to bring happiness to others. There's a lot of technical things I could say about how to set up your altar, face north or east, like all of our altars here tend to face north or east, just because of the earth is an organism, so there's certain times of day that are really good. But if you want to know like the really biggest thing, it's none of the technical stuff that sounds jazzy and exciting. It's this. This is the single biggest thing. Selflessness. not looking out for number one. You're going to look out for somebody else. Who will be the happiest person? The one who brings happiness to others. All of this is done to uncover your own happiness, not to make you happy. You already are that. All this stuff, I think, bears repeating over and over again. I've been meditating on this stuff in this lifetime for, 50, 60 years, and God knows how many previous lifetimes. And I have to remind myself of all of this constantly. So I do. I do my best to remind myself of all of this, to let go. Yeah. That's the other thing. If you're doing everything with like tremendous tension and attachment, it doesn't work. Tennis players shout when they hit the ball. It got pretty obnoxious with some people. You hear these loud grunts. And that's just so because you're exhaling when you shout. So if you exhale, you're not tensed up. You can't exhale and be as tensed up. So that's literally why they do it. And they know it. I mean, that's what the coaches teach them. But the best ones, a lot of the best ones, do this thing where, as they walk back after missing a shot, they smile. They smile. Really, really great players who do that. Yeah. Yeah. So the number one greatest thing that you can do that's conducive to a life of meditation, a life in meditation, which just means a life of greater and greater peace and happiness, is a selfless attitude. Think about others. Forget yourself. All that obsessing about ourselves, how am I going to be happy? What am I going to do about all my problems? It tends to make you more and more miserable. Find somebody with that also has problems, which tends to be everyone on the planet, and smile at them. You don't have to do some great thing to save them. Most of us, how can we do that? But you could be kind. So that's if you want to know like the really advanced stuff, that's it. That's the most advanced stuff. The rest of it's easy, and fun. It's fun. It's fun to set up an altar facing the right way, have a little corner in your house. Thoughts mold the atmosphere and the things in a place. That's why when you walk into these meditation spaces here, which is why we have retreats, why people go to temples and churches and all of that, is because when you meditate a lot in a place like that, you could be brought in blindfolded. You get peaceful. People hush their voices when they walk into old churches and places like that. When you go to Italy and you go to these old churches, it's amazing. They're like meditation machines. Lotus is a meditation machine. You just go in and your head starts humming. It's wonderful. So that's what you want to do in your meditation space at home. Have a place where you never look at your phone, God forbid, and you never, unless it's just for timing your pranayama or something, but that's about it. Pranayama is really, really good tip for meditation. By the way, we're going to give you a sheet at the end where I wrote down every good idea I've ever heard as tips for meditation. So you don't have to worry about that. You'll get lots of what I consider the best stuff. I think it is actually. I'll admit it. I'm partial to it. It's got all of this and more on it. Yeah. Yeah. Time of day affects the meditation. That's that's fairly huge. If you can get up, I know you don't want to hear this unless you're a morning person. I'm not by nature. But if you can get up and be meditating or doing anything, Gurudev says, it's so beneficial to be up at this time. You don't get the benefit if you're sleeping. You just don't. in the 2 or 3 hours before sunrise. It's called Brahma Muhurta, the hour of the absolute. The absolute is who you are. None of this is about God is somewhere out there. It's all about calming the waves so that we can wake up, which can happen in a moment, in just a second, wake up from our amnesia. None of this works if you aren't actually divine. You are already everything that you want. You are that. It's scary. It's scarily wonderful. Yeah. Yeah, but what about suffering and death and all of this? Yogis, they know that death is not the end. They're vast, they're immortal. Yeah. Read some of the poetry of Swami Vivekananda. You know that the dorms over here are named after him. One of Gurudev's favorite teachers. Read some of his poetry, like the Song of the Free, and it'll just like take you and shake you and wake you up. Yeah. Yeah. The suffering we go through in life is for the sake of waking us up. Yeah. But there's a way to live where you don't have to fear anything. The mind may, but you don't have to buy into that. The mind does its thing. It goes to Timbuktu. That's what it does. All of these great saints and the tens of thousands more that aren't pictured here, they were all bad meditators. For sure, all of them. All of them. If not in the lifetime that they became famous and revered, then just a previous lifetime. That's all. That's how they get so good. Why was Mozart, writing incredible stuff when he was like 5 years old or 6 years old? Obviously, reincarnation is real. You don't have to believe in it. But it obviously is real, and people come with certain talents, and that includes meditation. But even the worst meditators, if you start now, you never know. This could be the lifetime that you wake up. This could be the day that you wake up. This could be the retreat. So my recommendation to you is that for the remainder of the retreat, if you haven't started already, the whole point of the retreat is to meditate on everything. Just go wild. Really go wild with that. Like right now, we're sitting. A lot of us are sitting in chairs, right? So be aware of your posture, Be aware of your feet on the floor. Be aware of the silence. When you wake up, it's a walking meditation getting to the bathroom, which can be quite an adventurous walking meditation in the dark too. So that's fun too. You can meditate on literally everything. That's what the Japanese tea ceremony is all about. You meditate on making a cup of tea perfectly. Perfect. It doesn't mean doing it in slow motion. You can meditate on brushing your teeth. You can meditate when you eat. It's so convenient. There's all this stuff to do when you eat, and you have to eat to live. So when you chew, let's say you have a mantra that is your object of meditation. So mix the food with mantra as you chew and liquefy the food. Don't just wolf it down. Your digestion and your health will be better. You'll probably eat less. Nothing's worse than eating something really good. And then you look at, for me, a champion eater. And then, and then you look down and say, what happened? It's gone. You're loving this piece of pizza or this cake or whatever it is, and it's gone. That's what I said. What attracts me most about yoga is it's for people who want to have their cake and eat it too. By meditating on it and by feeling that I already am happiness, this cake is not going to make me happier, which you can easily find out, by the way, by eating more and seeing whether you're twice as happy. and then eating a third piece and seeing if it's 3 times. You can prove it just like that, really, really fast. Even the seconds or almost, and I don't want to, believe me, I'm the last person to pontificate about this. But even that first thing that you go back for is very often not as good as the reason that it's sending you back. Oh, this was so good. I have to have more. You know, you don't. You are the happiness that you seek. You already are that. Yeah. The desire for something makes a lot of waves in the mind. So then when you get it, momentarily, the waves calm down because you're not going, I have to have it, I have to have it, I have to have it, I have it. That little pause right there gets more reflective. You feel your own happiness, your own peace and joy. And that can happen anytime. It can happen when you eat, when you walk, when you talk, when you listen, anytime, anything that you do. Yeah. That's the greatness of it.